We like to believe that we see the world clearly, that our opinions are shaped by evidence, that our judgments come from reason, and that our beliefs are grounded in truth. But if we look closer, we notice something unsettling. We don't just look for information we selected. We don't just receive facts, we filter them. And the ideas we hold most tightly are often the ones we protect without even realizing it. In this episode, we explore one of the most powerful and invisible forces in human thinking: confirmation bias. It's the mechanism that makes us trust information that fits our beliefs and doubt anything that doesn't. It's the reason why debates rarely change minds, why false ideas survive for decades, and why we feel so certain even when we're wrong. This isn't just a psychological glitch. It's a window into how the mind protects itself. Let's begin. There is a strange moment that happens in every argument. You present evidence, clear evidence, logical evidence, evidence that you believe no reasonable person could disagree with. And yet, the other person doesn't change their mind. In fact, sometimes they believe the opposite even more strongly. Why does this happen? Why do facts bounce off beliefs instead of reshaping them? Why do people cling to ideas that are contradicted by reality? And why do we do the exact same thing without noticing? The answer lies in one of the most powerful forces in human psychology: confirmation bias. And once you understand it, you begin to see it everywhere: in debates, in politics, in relationships, in media, in culture, and in your own mind. Confirmation bias is the mental habit of searching for, noticing, and remembering information that confirms the beliefs we already have, while ignoring or rejecting anything that challenges them. It's not intentional. It's not malicious. It's simply how the brain protects itself from discomfort. To understand confirmation bias, let's begin with a simple truth. The human mind does not seek truth. It seeks consistency. When a belief forms about a person, a product, a group, a memory, a political view, or even a brand, the brain begins to build a story around that belief. And once the story forms, new information is filtered through it. Anything that fits is accepted immediately. Anything that does not fit is questioned, distorted, or rejected. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we already believe they must be. Why does this happen? Because the brain has a deep, ancient need to avoid internal conflict. When something contradicts our beliefs, it creates discomfort, a quiet mental tension called cognitive dissonance. The brain doesn't like that feeling, so instead of questioning the belief, it questions the evidence. Let's explore some everyday examples. Suppose someone believes a certain car brand is the most reliable. They will remember every positive story they hear about that brand: a friend who drove it for 10 years, a glowing review, a long-lasting engine. But they will forget or dismiss the negative stories, the recalls, the complaints, the breakdowns. Their belief filters their perception. Or imagine someone who dislikes a coworker. Every rude moment becomes proof of that belief. Every kind moment is ignored or reframed as pretending. The belief survives facts because the mind protects it. And confirmation bias doesn't just influence what we remember, it influences what we notice in the first place. If you believe left-handed people are more creative, you will notice every left-handed artist you see. If you believe cats are unfriendly, you will notice every unfriendly cat and ignore the gentle ones. If you believe a certain genre of news is biased, you will see every headline through that lens. Confirmation bias is like wearing tinted glasses. You don't see the tint, you see the world through it. But the effect goes deeper. It influences how we interpret information. Give two people with opposing beliefs the same data, and they will draw opposite conclusions from it. The climate skeptic and the environmentalist can look at the same temperature chart and both say, "This proves I'm right." The same study, the same graph, the same numbers interpreted in completely different ways. Facts do not change minds as easily as we think, because minds are not empty vessels waiting to be filled with truth. They are filters sorting information to protect the stories we already believe. Let's go deeper. Why did confirmation bias evolve in the first place? Long ago, humans lived in tribes where disagreement was dangerous. Belonging was survival. Being wrong could cost you status trust, or even your place in the group. It was far safer to agree with your tribe's beliefs, even if they were imperfect, than to challenge them. So our brains developed a mechanism to maintain harmony inside the group and harmony inside the self. Confirmation bias is not stupidity. It is self-protection. It protects our ego from being shattered. It protects our identity from feeling unstable. It protects our tribe from conflict. It protects our story, the story that tells us who we are. But in the modern world, this ancient mechanism creates new problems. We live in an age of unlimited information, personalized feeds, and infinite echo chambers. Algorithms learn our beliefs, then only show us what agrees with them. We become surrounded by our own opinions reflected back at us. And the more confirmation we receive, the more certain we become. Not because we know more, but because we hear the same things louder and louder. This is why the world feels so polarized. It's not because people are thinking carefully, it's because they are thinking comfortably. Confirmation bias is a comfort mechanism. It soothes the mind by protecting beliefs from disruption. But comfort is the enemy of clarity. Let's explore some of the most common signs of confirmation bias. The first is selective attention. We notice what fits our beliefs and unintentionally ignore what doesn't. A sports fan will notice every referee mistake against their team and ignore every mistake that benefits them. The second is selective memory. We remember confirming evidence far more easily. Ask someone about a belief they hold strongly, and they can instantly recall 10 supporting examples, but almost none that contradict it. The third is selective interpretation. When evidence contradicts our beliefs, we twist it. We reinterpret it. We explain it away. We downgrade it as exception fake bias or irrelevant. Anything to protect the belief. The fourth is the echo chamber effect. We surround ourselves with people who agree with us, not because they are right, but because they feel comfortable. Social media amplifies this effect dramatically. Now here's the twist, the deeper insight behind confirmation bias. Beliefs survive facts because beliefs serve psychological needs. Facts only serve truth. Beliefs provide identity. Beliefs provide safety. Beliefs provide belonging. Beliefs provide order in a chaotic world. Facts simply provide information, and for most people, identity beats information. But once you understand confirmation bias, something powerful happens. You begin to recognize it in real time. You feel the discomfort when someone challenges you, and instead of rejecting the idea, you pause. You examine the instinct. You ask yourself whether this feeling is a bias trying to protect your belief. This awareness is the first step toward clear thinking. So let's walk through a simple framework for escaping confirmation bias. A framework that helps beliefs evolve instead of stagnate. Step 1. Pause and notice. When you feel resistance to new information, treat that feeling as a signal. Not a signal that the information is wrong, but that your bias is active. Step 2. Consider the opposite. Ask yourself, what evidence would make my belief wrong? This question opens the mind. Step 3. Seek disconfirming evidence. Look directly for information that challenges your view, not to defeat it, but to test it honestly. Step 4. Double source your information. Don't rely on a single viewpoint. If something is true, it should survive being examined from multiple angles. Step 5. Talk to people who disagree with you. Not to argue, but to understand what you might be missing. Confirmation bias falls apart when curiosity replaces defensiveness. Let's explore a few real-world examples of how deeply this bias shapes our experience. Two people can watch the same political debate and both believe their candidate won. Two people can read the same news article and conclude opposite things. Two siblings can grow up in the same home and remember their childhoods differently. Two viewers can watch the same sports game and believe the referee is biased against their own team. The world is the same. The facts are the same. But the minds interpreting them are not. Confirmation bias reminds us that humans do not live in a shared reality of facts. We live in personalized realities of interpretation. And yet there is hope, because the moment you see how your mind protects its beliefs, you gain the freedom to question them, to update them, to let them grow. Clear thinking does not require you to abandon all beliefs. It only requires you to hold them lightly, ready to revise when evidence arrives. In the end, confirmation bias teaches us something profound. Being wrong is not the problem. Refusing to reconsider is. Beliefs are stories. Facts are signals. Wisdom is learning to let the signals reshape the story. And when you do that, when you allow your beliefs to evolve instead of defend themselves, you begin to see the world not as you expect it to be, but as it truly is. Confirmation bias shows us something essential about the human mind. We're not built to seek perfect truth. We're built to seek comfort, consistency, and belonging. And the beliefs we carry, whether large or small, become part of the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. When new information threatens those stories, the mind doesn't open the door. It locks it. But awareness changes everything. The moment you begin to notice your own resistance to new facts, you create a small space, a gap where curiosity can enter. A space where beliefs can be examined instead of defended. A space where truth has a chance to reshape the narrative. Clear thinking doesn't require abandoning your beliefs. It requires being willing to update them. If this episode helped you understand your mind a little more deeply, join me for the next one. We'll continue exploring the hidden mechanics of human thinking, the forces that quietly shape how we see the world. Until then, remember, beliefs survive facts only when we let them.